Welcome to Hollywood and Sip. I'm your host, Kat Smith, and today we have Deborah Kos, who is an author, a blogger, and a coach. And we're going to talk a little bit about your writing, and then later on, we're going to talk about the new course that you're teaching. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
And do you want to give us just a little bit of background about who you are and maybe what got you into writing in the first place?
Originally, I was a stay-at-home mom who just decided, hey, I want a blog. and I just decided to go for it. And they thought I was nuts, and I just did it. And during the time when I was writing that blog, I was asked to be a co-author in books, in 2 different books. And I started writing some stories on that.
And I was about to ask you about those 2 books. I want to start with the first one. It is called Out of My Comfort Zone, Stories of Courage, Perseverance, and Victory. And it's a whole collection of stories. And yours is called Pain Turned Me into a Professional Blogger, which I think even those of us who are not in, well, first of all, I want to have you share your story with us, but also I think it's probably a good story because it's not just pain right now that are having people kind of shift gears in their lives. So I think your story might inspire some people to look at what they're doing right now a little differently since we're all stuck home together.
Yes, it's a matter of thinking out of the box and trying to keep yourself positive and active and trying something new, really taking our brains and thinking, how can I do what I want to do during this time when everything's so negative?
So tell us a little bit about that story. I imagine you want people to buy the book and read the story, but if you could give us a little bit about what the pain you're talking about is, what caused you to shift that gear and become that blogger?
Well, the real starting point was a Halloween morning. Everything was fine that morning. I ate my breakfast, but as soon as I got out of my chair, there was pain in my hip. I don't know where it came from. The rest of the day and all that, I was in my chair. I was in the chair watching TV for the whole week, trying to get that pain to calm down. And it was a matter of, I was so bad, the pain, even a week later, where I didn't even, on a Monday morning, I didn't even call the doctor. I just got dressed as best as I could. I couldn't even reach my shoes and my socks to put them on. It took me like a half an hour almost to get dressed. Drove myself to the doctor's office. I'm walking into the doctor's office, and couples are looking at me that are older than me that I could barely walk. And then the receptionist just looked at me, her eyes popped out, and she took my name. She said, "We'll get you in, don't worry." And it was a long process with physical therapy going on. And all during that physical therapy, there was something about going to that physical therapist 3 days a week that when I got out of that car and walked across the street to go to that hospital, every time in my mind, something told me there's something, this was a game changer. This was gonna change my whole life. I didn't know what was ahead, had no clue at the time. And then eventually, once the pain stopped and I was able to think clearer, I knew it was the blog. And after all that pain, I was like, oh no, I gotta do something. And I started that blog.
Just out of curiosity, what were you doing before that? You were just a stay-at-home mom? Not just, I mean, oh my gosh, what an important job. But I mean, it wasn't like a career shift. It was adding into what you were already doing is what you basically did.
It was adding into, after 17 years of just stay-at-home mom, I wasn't working. I was going to meetings, errands, school, kids, and school activities, household activities. And then I had to go and add the blog on top of it. That was for me. I had to do something for me.
Right. So in the second book, which the second book is called Beauty in My Mess, Volume 2, Stories of Love, Learning, and Living. In that one, the contents didn't list the author next to each story, so I wasn't sure which one was yours. So do you want to tell us about what you wrote for that book?
That one was, I believe the title is Learning to Love and Live My Life Again. And that story came from kind of before I started the blog. I was a mom. And somewhere in all of that 15, 16 years of being a mom, you lose yourself. Your only friends are other moms with kids. Sorry, real friends, I can't go out with you because I can't get a babysitter. I can't do this. I've got kids. I got this activity I've got to be at. And then one night, when my husband said to me, I need deodorant, I lost it. I flipped out because I was so busy and so stressed. And that's what the story is in the book. I flipped out and I had to go outside, take a walk. I came back, I was still upset. That's when I was later up that night, sleepless night, decided I need a me plan. Me plan. I've got to change this. I can't deal with this. And I talk about how the things I incorporate into my me plan, and the next day told the family this is the way it's going to be. And that's what I did. It took a while to get adjusted to the new routine because I wasn't always there anymore. You have to do something to get yourself back. I made time for the friends that were without kids, that were still there, because I saw the moms all the time with the kids, but I needed to see the other friends too. And that was a whole new turning point for me.
And isn't it funny how something, it sounds small, the being out of deodorant, but what it really is like the last straw. Like, it's the last thing you were asked for that day, and it blew your mind.
It blew my mind, but I was in such a space where I wasn't even sleeping some of the nights. I was really snappy, and it just all exploded.
Well, and so part of your me plan is that blog, and I want to flip the script on you a little bit. I hope you got the email warning, but it's not a tough question. It's just in your bio for the blog, you talk about how you're focused on helping busy moms with life hacks to be less stressed and to spend more time with family. And it was funny to me reading that because obviously you wrote that pre-COVID. And so now we're all spending a lot of time with our families. So I thought maybe you had a few life hacks for how to be stressful now that we're all sharing so much time together.
Oh, I do. In fact, this year, even before all this COVID started, I started thinking about 2020 already. And I decided 2020, I'd focus more on the life hacks. I didn't know why, but I knew I wanted to focus on that, about moms and their health and their self-care, their mindset, the motivation, keeping them inspired. And I wanted to incorporate that with the household hacks. So this year's been a major shift. That's when I even created the affirmation course to go with that, to help the moms. It's like I don't know if I kind of thought maybe I knew something different was going to happen this year, but I didn't know what. I never thought it'd be that drastic.
I don't think anybody knew what was coming. I mean, I don't think there's one thing you can name that happened in 2020 that anybody a year ago said, hey, you know what's coming in 2020? This is it.
This is it. And when that hit, I knew I had to do something. I had to get out there. And that was when I really focused on. I really knew that I had to help more people to be their best selves. That was the whole point of it, because everybody was stressed. Everybody's negative. You can't get stuff at the grocery store. You can't plan a full meal because some of the store shelves are empty. So I was like, okay, we have to come in. We have to take a deep breath, stand back a little, Maybe we need to ask for help from our neighbors. Hey, I can't get flour at the store. Can you put it on your list? And what do you need? I will look for what you need. You got to start thinking, how can we help each other? That was the main thing during all this.
Right. And so your blog is called Deb's Decorative Life. Just be you, your own unique self, which is what you're talking about now. What are some of the lessons that you have in your blog that we can all benefit from?
A couple of the lessons, there's everything from laundry hacks to back to school to planning a party. There's even a post about a mom who wrote to me that her 3-year-old had COVID and she needed help with time management. That was really hard one.
Yeah. What were some of the advice you gave her?
She went on top of that, she was trying to start a new business. And one of the things I actually gave her was that you have to just sit back and tell yourself, my family has to come first. You cannot expect that much out of your business at this time right now. You can try to automate your business as best as you can. Delegate. Do you have a friend to give some tasks to? Is a friend willing to help you out? Can you put certain things on hold until later and just do the minimal? Allow maybe one thing that has to get done a day until you get into a routine and can get people to help you.
That's all good advice. And I want to wrap up talking about your affirmation course because I know it's new, and we can't mention prices because this will air on the radio also. So I will put a link in the YouTube video. So if you're hearing this on the radio and you want to find out more about the course, you can go to the YouTube video and I'll have all the links there. But your affirmation course, and I just thought it was fun to point out that you have 200 daily affirmations in your course. And right here in my house, we're on day 132 of staying at home. So I was thinking, are you surprised that you may not have enough days? Like if everybody had started with you on day one, are you surprised that you may not have planned enough days to get us through this whole thing?
Actually, I have 325 in there now.
Awesome.
And I'm adding more I want to add more categories and add more into it.
So what is the course like? When people sign up, what do they do? Do they just visit once a day and get their affirmations? Are there lessons? What do you walk them through?
I give them different categories, for example, maybe money or confidence, with what they need to build on that for that week or month or however they want to do it at that time. And then I give them a step-by-step process on how to make the affirmations work for you.
Awesome. And that's open right now. So you don't have to wait for a specific open date. You can just jump in and do it at your own pace.
Right. And if they have any questions, they can come back to me. And I do have a special bonus in there where I will help them if they're stuck and walk them through it.
Awesome. And I wanted to wrap up with just one little fun personal fact I found out about you. In your bio, it said that you've wanted to be a published author since the 2nd grade, and you accomplished that. But my curiosity is, what kind of stories were you writing in the 2nd grade?
I remember in 2nd grade that I wrote a story about my favorite teacher. And she was the one that died in the middle of the classroom year that really inspired me to want to be an author. And I really missed her. And that's when I wrote that story, and then I realized I want to be an author.
Oh, what a wonderful inspiration. So we have been talking to Deborah Kos, who is an author, a blogger, and now she can be your affirmational coach. Do you want to give out links? How can people find you? Are you on social media? Do you want to give out your website?
I'm going to give out my website, debsdecorativelife.com. And then I'm also on Deb's Decorative Life is also on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today.
And thank you for inviting me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.